what's going on, guys? The Sixers are just about to go on the clock here. We're just waiting for pick number 23. We're reacting, giving our top takeaways. We have no idea who the Sixers are selecting. Currently, the pick is in for the Memphis Grizzlies, and let's go. We've got Rob in the house. We've got Tiago in the house. We've got Mark in the house. We've been doing this since the jump. So the pick is in for the Memphis Grizzlies. Where are they going here?
They're going Walker Kessler.
Walker Kessler to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
So here we go, guys. Should we share our big boards and kind of like talk about where we're at? Because it's been murder's row these last I'm going to throw it to you, Tiago, real quick. So what are your thoughts on where the Sixers should go from here and according to your big board?
Well, I would definitely go Jaden Hardy with what's left available because of his shot-making profile. Daryl likes guys who can score on the ball. I would say that he's the one with the highest ceiling left of that type of player. So I would go Jaden Hardy with that pick myself.
What about you, Mark? Let's look at your big board. You've got Kendall Brown, Ty Washington, Wendell Moore, and Jaden Hardy. What are your quick thoughts, and where do you think the Sixers go here?
Whoa, we're trading with number 23 pick for DeAnthony Melton.
Holy
shit.
Oh, I like that.
DeAnthony Melton.
That was a name that I was linked in the past with. Yeah.
The Sixers are trading number 23 to Memphis for DeAnthony Melton. Here we go. We finally made a move, big guys. We finally did.
I like that a lot.
I'm going to actually just take this off the screen. All right, let's talk about DeAnthony Melton.
That's awesome. He's a really good defensive player. He's become a much better three-point shooter the last couple of years on way higher volume while being on Memphis. That's shocking to me that Memphis would trade him. He feels like such a perfect bench guard for Memphis. Wow. I love that.
So I think he fell out of favor in Memphis because of Williams' growth there. They drafted a kid last year called Zero Williams, and I think that Melton was the one kind of left out. What Mark was saying, can defend, adds athleticism, size, can shoot. I mean, you're looking at the stats right there, right? So 37% on high volume from the outside, moves well off the ball, can do a little bit of playmaking if you need him to. I'm not saying that's his go-to bread and butter, but yeah, absolutely slam dunk trade by the Sixers. I think you get a young player as well, which is important, proven NBA talent. So yeah, I like what they did right now. Absolutely.
The Grizzlies did it for David Roddy.
Oh,
did
really?
they play David Roddy?
David Roddy, the Roddy Piper man. Wow.
All
David
right,
Roddy Piper. I love David Roddy, but that's funny.
You like the improvements you see there? Improved points per game every single year. So has his minutes per game. He shot, wow, look at the last 2 years. Good volume, too. That's all right. Whoa, hold on. There we go. He shot 38.8% the last 2 years on 4.7 attempts per game. What does that look like per 100 minutes? A lot of attempts. This looks great, guys. This looks pretty good. He's a good shooter. I'm reading a little blurb on DeAnthony Melton. He's an impressive off-ball defender who uses his agility and 6'9" wingspan to wreak havoc in passing lanes. 2.5 steal percentage, that is 96th percentile. 1.1 block percentage, 97th percentile. He's a serviceable, a little ambitious shooter. And he's a really good rebounder, 7.2 rebounds per 36 minutes. That is 5th in the NBA for guards 6'5" or under. This reminds me of Bruce Brown a little bit. Any other thoughts on DeAnthony Melton here?
Well, look, I look at him. He's a 24-year, right? He's 24 years old. So you got youth. You have some other guard play. You have a guy who can score the ball a little. He can score the ball decently, and he's a defensive player too. I've said going into this, Dibes, I've been very honest about it. I didn't want to use the pick. I wanted a guy that has played in the league that you're going to get, that is probably more ready to play than anybody you would have picked at 23. And I think this may say goodbye to the Shake Milton experience here in Philadelphia.
They picked up his team option already.
Well,
So
they can pick his team option up and then just stash his ass. I'm saying this guy will play a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not going to have to go to Shake when you go to that second lineup. You know, you can let it DeAnthony Melton come in and play. These are the type of moves I want to see Morey make. Like, obviously, everybody's going to talk home run, home run, home run. This bench
Danny Green.
Horrible.
By the way.
Danny Green's involved?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that.
Whoa. All right, so what's the deal?
Danny in 23 as part of trade to acquire DeAnthony Melton. That's the tweet. As part of trade makes me a little scared. I don't think that they would just leave Matisse's name out of that. Like,
No.
I feel like he'd be involved in that tweet.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's Matisse. Maybe there's a second rounder or a future second rounder in there or cash considerations. Who knows? Maybe Shake Milton's in there. Who knows? But,
yeah, Kyle Newbeck is saying Danny and 23 for Melton.
Okay, good.
All right. I mean, look, I think that's you got a need. You got a guy who's going to be able to play for you right away off the bat. And really you gave up the 23rd pick. And Danny, look, I love Danny Green, but he wasn't going to play next year because of that injury anyway, at least for most of the season. It's an expiring contract. I'm not sure what Melton's contract numbers are. You guys probably know better than I do. But, look, there's not much to not like about this move for the Sixers.
Yeah.
So I had talked a little bit about DeAnthony Melton during the NBA playoffs because I noticed he wasn't playing, and I thought that would be a great fit with the Sixers. And I started doing some research. I'm trying to pull up on Twitter because I came across Synergy puts out a shot map of highest efficiency players, right, based on where they're shooting from the court. And I'm trying to pull it up right now. So best shooters by zone, right? So obviously Desmond Bane from the top of the key, like trailer 3, he's the best. Corner 3, Cam Johnson, one side of the court, Gary Harris on the other side. DeAnthony Melton shot 49% from that right wing extended 3-point line, which is the highest efficiency of any NBA player last season. So you see where he's going to get his shots from on the court and the impact it can bring to the Sixers offensively. So I'm going to kind of retweet that so people can take a look.
Right there. There you go, Tiago. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, so that's that 54 for 111, that puts him at the very top of all NBA players from that particular spot on the court. And you start thinking about how that looks with the Sixers offense, right? So Joel drawing double teams, kicking it back out, things like that. So I like the trade for you, what you said, Chris, defensively, but he's also going to bring you potentially some substantial range off the catch. So definitely a very good trade for the Sixers.
40+% from 3 in the catch and shoot. Gotta love that. What do we see here? Yeah, I mean, how would you grade this trade, Rob? What would you grade it A to F? What are your quick reactions?
I mean, I know people are going to say I'm going overboard, but I mean, I think it's an A from the standpoint of need on this team. You have that third guard now behind Maxey and behind Harden. You got a guy who's going to be able to contribute immediately to a team that is in win now mode. And you've now got a guy that, if he could most likely coming off the bench that you can actually count on. You're not like, oh God, what Shake Milton is going to show up today or whatever guy is going to show up today. You know who DeAnthony Melton is. And what I like is he can shoot. He's not, he may not be a knockdown shooter, but he's a good shooter, but he has both sides of the floor. Too many times I feel like we get these guys in the Sixers that can be real good on one end and very subpar on the other end. At least you got a guy here who I think is a real solid defender, and I think he can absolutely help you on the offensive side as well. So for me, for the need for everything when you talk about this offseason, it's an A because this is the great start to the offseason.
Yep. 42. Yeah, DeAnthony Melton just tore it up after February. February and on last season, you look at February, he shot 43.8% from 3. March, he shot 47.1% from 3, and then 35.5% from 3 in April. So he really did his best in the second half of the season. During that time, he was averaging around 13 points per game there, around roughly 5 rebounds per game. So yeah, we've got a floor spacer. We've got a new guard and a floor spacer. No, Chris, no, Quentin. We do not have a new coach, unfortunately.
And here's
D'Anthony Melton, he's got a 2-year, $16 million contract, basically. It was initially a 4-year, $34 million contract, but there's 2 years left on it at $8 million per for each year. That's a really good contract. I mean, it's a
nice contract.
Absolutely a great value and really when you have Tyrese Maxey and James Harden, you should have a point guard on the floor for 48 minutes. So D'Anthony Melton being your bench guard is perfect because I think he can play with both of those guys as the two. I think that's an absolutely perfect fit, especially with Harden. I think the defensive versatility that Melton's going to bring you to guard whoever the best guard is. Like he can guard from all the way down to Trae Young, all the way up to, I don't know, Bradley Beal. I know Jaylen Brown plays a little bit of two sometimes. So he can guard Brown or Beal, and he can also guard the tiny guys like a Trae Young. Like I think Melton's a really awesome defensive fit.
Mark, when you say guard Beal, you mean in practice at training camp, right?
No, I don't. I don't want Bradley Beal. I think that guy's a loser. To be quite honest, like I think that guy's a loser. Everyone thinks Harden has loser energy. It's like that guy's been to Western Conference Finals and stuff. Bradley Beal puts up 30 on a team that wins 28 games, and I'm good.
A couple of things on D'Anthony Melton. So first, if you think that Morey is not connected to Houston Rockets, you're wrong because Melton was a Rocket in the past. So there is some Houston connection. So Morey's still tapping into that stuff like he always does. And then the second thing is, so you got a guy off the bench, like Mark was saying, that can play both spots on the floor, offensive and defensive. And the Sixers don't really have that very much, right? You got Thibault, who's only defender. You got Korkmaz who's going to play offense. So it's nice to have a guy who can keep on the court, both offensive and defensively, which allows the Sixers to do a bunch of stuff with Embiid and Harden and Maxey. So lineup flexibility, positional flexibility. It's a matter of if Doc's willing to tap into that, right? That's another conversation. But yeah, so all positive things.
Real quick, Tiago, how would you grade this move?
Oh, I give it an A. There's no question about it. Based on how the board played out, on the names that were left, I would definitely give it an A.
All right. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, an A. I mean, it's kind of similar. It's way different, but it's kind of similar to me to the A.J. Brown trade for the Eagles, where it's like, oh, we have this huge need, and we're going to have to go out there and take a chance on a guy that can fill that need. Hopefully he can fill it right away. And that was what they were looking at receiver. And it's like, instead, let's trade for A.J. Brown. And let's go get someone we know can fill that need. D'Anthony Melton's not like as good at basketball as AJ Brown is at football. But the Sixers were looking at a thing where Rob put it well. Like they had to go make a move to help this current team. Like I was looking at guys like Kendall Brown, guys like Jaden Hardy, guys with high upsides and maybe a little bit of a long-term home run swing. But if you're looking at the guys that like could have helped us right away, I mean, maybe it's Kendall, or maybe it's Wendell Moore, maybe it's EJ Liddell. But I think D'Anthony Melton's going to help these teams a lot more than even one of those two guys would have. So I think it's it's an A.
All right. So let's get some comments real quick. Quentin says, "Let's go." Yeah, that was before. Justin says, "Better shake Melton." How many minutes do we expect from D'Anthony Melton for next year? What's everyone's quick thoughts?
20 plus. He's your best wing defender off the bench if Thibault's not here.
Which I still think, Tiago brings that up. I still think that could be a possibility this offseason, that Thibault could be involved in something else if they're trying to bring more veterans in, or if they want to sign a guy and they need the space, that sort of thing. Like I know a lot of people might be sitting here going, oh, I guess this means Thibault's staying. I don't think we're at that point yet. He's your best wing defender, but when your best wing defender comes in now, he could score the ball a little bit. You know what I mean? Listen, I love Matisse Thybulle, the guy, the kid. I love him. But what happened last year was it's just inexcusable. I mean, he became more useless on offense, or let's say just as useless on offense as 25. And, that's why we got pissed off with him. And he was a better athlete and better player than Matisse. So, it's just one of those things where they've got to continue to build. It's a good starting point. And yeah, he's going to be a 20-plus minute guy a game. But this is just the beginning, I hope.
So
I mean,
right.
it's all the bench with Melton now. It's all about the Furkan Korkmaz redemption story. I mean, no, I'm joking. I'm joking. But
Korkmaz Victory Tour 2023.
Yeah. No, but I do think like I've talked myself into Isaiah Joe the last 2 weeks. I know I shouldn't because Doc's not going to play him. But if Isaiah Joe's out there with D'Anthony Melton, those are both like an interesting choices to use in terms of backup guards, because Isaiah Joe, the 3-point, I mean, he's just a 3-point shooter. That's basically all he does there. But Melton's the 3-and-D guy, more of a defensive guy, emphasis on the defense. But I think having both of those options would be huge and would be better on a team that didn't have Doc Rivers coaching it.
Doc Rivers coaching. So can I just make a point on Thibault, because there's this narrative that Thibault is unplayable, and I completely disagree with that. First of all, Thibault proved to be a more capable cutter than ever in his career last year. He shot the highest percentage he's ever did from the corner 3 last year, above league average from the corner, by the way. Yes, he does some absolutely absurd offensive things, and the fact that he can dribble, can shoot from those parts of the court, it's absolutely insane. But to me, you keep Thibault. You know how he works in your offense. And Thibault and Melton, man, you got 2 really, really good to elite perimeter defenders on your team. So I don't necessarily see it as, oh, you have Melton, you now ship Thibault. I think there's a blueprint of how to use Thibault in your offense. You just got to play him and trust that he can hit those shots in the corner and cut and dive and those things. So I'm just going to say that I still think there's a path for Thibault to be here and for the Sixers to be a much more improved defensive team with those 2 on the court.
Yeah, I think there's a path for him to be here. I guess my point is I just won't be surprised if he still is.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
I think that they're like, look, I think this, as I said, this offseason is going to be an interesting one for the Sixers. I feel like we say it every year, but I think that this is you're at that point. You're at the boiling point. It's got to be now. So what they do from here on out is going to be interesting. But you're right. There's a path. I just need to see him regain a little bit of that confidence that I feel like as the season went on, he lost. And I mean, one play in particular sticks out during, I forget what game against Miami. I think it was the last game against Miami where he literally was like playing catch with whoever the point guard was and just was afraid to do anything but and it was like it was the easiest pet. Like that was such a alarming moment for me. I was like, holy shit, this guy's got zero confidence in his offensive ability. But, hopefully, look, I'm sure he's a hard worker. I'm sure the kid's working his ass off, but we'll see.
All right. Where should we go from here? Should we keep rolling or just end it? Where are we going?
Well, I don't know what this is. I don't think the Sixers are making another pick today. Do you think
Probably
so?
not, unless they buy a second rounder. I doubt it. Let's go to some comments. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of things behind the scenes right now. Steven says, put Glenn in the upside down. I love the Stranger Things reference. Big fan of that. Awesome show. We have a comment reporting Philly views Tyrese Maxey as a franchise cornerstone and virtually untouchable via Paul Hudrick. I love that. I love to hear that. Greg sees D'Anthony Melton as a 6th man, easy 20 to 25 minutes per game. Who's our starting small forward? Any thoughts on
the guy who was on the best starting lineup in basketball last year? Like, I get it. Matisse Thybulle's got problems. Like, there's things that aren't like, he isn't an offensive player, and I get it. Like, people just don't want to talk about the fact that when James Harden was on the Sixers in the regular season for the second half of the year when Joel Embiid was healthy, we were a really good team, and Matisse Thybulle was a really good player in that stretch. So I know things didn't go well in the playoffs. I know things didn't go well down the stretch, but the hate has gone, like Tiago said, like the hate has gone way too far on Matisse Thybulle. Like he can absolutely start and be your 5th guy and play 25 minutes.
All right. Let's go to some more comments. Side note, the next episode of The Boys is now available. Okay.
I think I might be too back on that. I got to get in on that.
I haven't watched it. Thybulle needs to become Bruce Brown. It didn't happen. Furkan forever. What was the trade? It was Danny Green and pick number 23 for D'Anthony Melton. As we said earlier, great shooter, very good defender coming to Philly. Joshua says Danny Green offered next to nothing for most of the year. I disagree.
Fake news.
True. That's just not true.
It's just not true at all. People hate Danny Green because he defended Ben Simmons when Ben was still here. I mean, that's single-handedly what it is. Because that guy, you saw in Game 6 against Miami when he went out, they had, like, nothing. I'm not saying that he was the best part of the team, but Danny Green did a hell of a lot for this team in the couple of years he was here.
Yeah, he never gets the recognition, man.
So with Danny Green gone, do you guys think he's going to play Isaiah Joe now? Or do you think that ship is just sailed?
I hope so, man. I really hope so.
I really don't, because
what evidence do you have to support that?
But think about after Tyrese Maxey's first year. Everybody's pissed because he didn't play enough. And then this year, he played. Maybe it's the same thing for the Joes of the world, the Reeds of the world, the Bassies of the world. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you're going to get all three. That just seems like
pipe dream.
That's a pipe dream to get all three of them to play a lot of minutes. I do believe that you're going to see more of the bigs this year. I don't know where they stand on Joe. I really don't. I don't know where they stand on Isaiah Joe. I met Paul Reed, by the way. Did I? I know Dives knows. Did I tell you guys that? I met him. I showed him a house.
I don't think they know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Showed him a house to rent. Didn't work out, but that man walked in, and I was like, God damn. I got a bro hug from him. He had a bend about halfway down. The bro hugged me. I was like, shit.
Did you tell him I'm a big fan, or you kept it cool?
I tried to keep it real cool, especially when I'm almost positive he was FaceTiming with Maxey while he was in the house.
Oh, really?
Like, because I could just hear a voice on the phone. I was like, man, that sounds like him. But I was like, I'm not going to be that guy because I do have to be a professional.
Joshua says Thibault averages 1.6 rebounds from the small forward position since Harden came. Not only is he a liability off, but he causes issues on defense with his lack of rebounding at the forward spot. Edge of Philly Sports says, see ya, Danny Green. Do you think it might come? No, he was in the trade. What do you think Memphis is going to do with Danny Green?
I mean, if he's healthy, they could definitely use him.
You think they're going to use him, or like he just all right?
I mean, you figure by January he probably could come back and play. So I'm sure they'll use him if he gets healthy.
I figure that's a flip. Like, I don't think Memphis is done. Like, I feel like Memphis has to make a couple moves this offseason to strengthen kind of the supplementary pieces to Ja. Like, I mean, I don't think you move Triple J, or I don't think you move like Dylan Brooks, but if they like, I think that maybe they do move Dylan Brooks. Like, you package Dylan Brooks and Danny Green for like a more legitimate wing. Like, I could see Danny Green being moved again as a part of another trade just to fill salary for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets traded to a tanking team and then gets waived, and then he can go to whatever team he wants. Like that feels like that'll happen.
Yeah. By the way, Wendell Moore was taken by Minnesota at number 26. Blake Wesley to it seems like the Spurs. And there it is. So
Jaden Hardy's still on board.
Jaden Hardy is still on the board. Interesting. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
I say we wrap it up. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please be sure to smash that subscribe button. Check out all of our reactions during the NBA Draft Watch Party there on the channel. Tons and tons of D'Anthony Melton content coming tomorrow for sure. Follow everyone here. My man, Rob, at Philly_Madness. That is Mark Henry Jr. at Mark Henry Jr. Check out his work at Fox Sports The Gambler on Saturdays at 11 a.m. You don't want to miss that. Amazing, amazing stuff. And that is what?
What a plug.
Yeah.
And that is Tiago at Tiago PHL, man. Tons and tons of fun tonight. But the Sixers got a really good role player. I think we all agree it is a grade A for the Sixers. We'll be back. I'm telling you, if the Sixers do make a move, I will be going back on live.
You're staying up until midnight?
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll come back on with you if they make a move. How about that?
Perfect. I will be awake.
They might get some buyout guys, so who knows?
Yeah. I got to go watch The Boys now because it's the greatest, most vulgar show of all time.
I've heard about that.
I've got to watch Hustle or Dives is going to hunt me down.
You got to watch
Yes,
Hustle.
you got to watch. It's really good.
I will watch it. I'm watching it this weekend.
It's a movie that has no right being that good. I was blown away. Blown away.
I was stunned by it. I really was stunned by it.
Yeah, make sure you check that out, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching. For Rob, for Mark, for Tiago, stay awesome, everyone.